President Donald Trump right now facing his first big political test of his second term as it is election day across America. The president throughout the day has been airing grievances on several key races. Just moments ago, White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt claimed that fraud was happening in California without actually providing any proof. Leavitt then saying the president is considering executive action without offering many details.
Yeah, we actually just spoke with a Republican who does not share that concern. One, Kevin Kiley, there on the corner of that graphic. Earlier, the president took aim at that state's Democratic-led redistricting push, calling it unconstitutional. And certainly there are concerns from Republicans about that. The fate of 5 Republican House seats on the ballot hanging really in the balance there. We are also keeping a close eye on key matchups in New York, New Jersey, and Virginia. And we have teams standing by in all of those places, including CNN's Omar Jimenez, who is in New York talking with voters. What are they saying, Omar?
Yeah, we're hearing a wide range of things. As you can imagine, a lot of enthusiasm around this race, of course, over potentially a new face in Zohran Mamdani versus a little bit more of the establishment in terms of Andrew Cuomo. But with that comes experience. And I say that because I've been speaking to Andrea Crawford here, who's a decades-long resident here in Queens, New York. And tell me, you voted for Andrew Cuomo. Why?
I voted for Andrew Cuomo because I needed operational experience in the mayor's office. I think it's been lacking in the last several terms. It's a huge city, huge budget. We have lots of issues, and I think he actually gets things done.
Were you excited to vote for Andrew Cuomo?
Not particularly.
And why is that?
Well, I think he has a lot of baggage. I would like to see fresh faces, but I want to see people with experience, who have executive experience, who have operational experience, and even if they're out of the Assembly or the Senate or the Council, that they've actually put out bills, worked legislation, and understand the process.
And just what issues were top of mind to you? I know the operational experience, but was it things like affordability, safety? Were there any issues top of mind?
Well, affordability and safety are part of living in the city. I have problems with the borough-based jails. I live in Kew Gardens, and I think that that could be handled better. I have issues with overall cost, but it can't be just one magic, wish. You need to know how to operate with people, how to work with people, how to manage agencies, who you're going to put in charge, and how do those agencies run. And without that knowledge and deep base, I don't know how anything can get done.
And for you, that's Andrew Cuomo?
For me, that's Andrew Cuomo.
All right, Andrea, great to meet you. As we've been talking about, we are in Queens. I was going to take you inside this polling center real fast. Well, as we go, I'll walk as I finish this up here. But as we've been talking to voters over the course of today, it's been pretty busy. Obviously swelling as the workday sort of got started and then around lunchtime and things of that nature. But I'll just show you guys as I send it back to you, Brianna and Boris. You can see how busy it is as we end up finishing up this workday here. And as enthusiasm that we've seen at least shatter records on Sunday as far as early voting numbers, we'll see if that holds pace.
All right, Omar, thank you for that. Busy there on that basketball court. So let's go down to Brian Todd. He's in Virginia. That is where the shutdown has really been playing politically. It's personally impacting a lot of voters, especially in the county where you are, Brian. Tell us what they're telling you.
Well, Brianna, a lot of them are very frustrated with the shutdown, and that is influencing their vote today. I'm going to get to that in just a moment because we have a voter who's going to talk to us about that. There are a lot of reasons that we love covering elections on days like today. One of them is that we can show you the process, for the most part, in person, live as it happens. And this has been a steady stream of voters coming into Arcola Elementary School. This is precinct 119. This is one of the busiest precincts in a very busy county for voting. Loudoun County has just exploded population-wise over the past several years. It is now the 4th largest county in the state of Virginia, and it's just been growing and growing and growing. It's been very smooth here. People get their ballots. They go old school here in Virginia with the paper ballots. They fill them in these stations here, and then they bring it over to this counter and feed the counter. Now, we're going to go outside and talk to a voter. We mentioned government shutdown, and the government shutdown has really affected, a lot of people here in Loudoun County. There are hundreds of thousands of people here who work for the government or at least know someone who works for the government. This is Cheryl Swinson. She's been a resident of Loudoun County for about 13 years now. Cheryl, you said you just voted for Abigail Spanberger, but the government shutdown really weighing on your mind because you're personally connected to it. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, I voted for her for a couple of reasons, but I'm concerned about the government shutdown and the impact on the employees. It's employees who get everything from different different ranges in salary. So it just supports our economy. It's a big part of the economy. And people being at home worrying about if they're going to have a job when they come back, how to, pay their rent, how to get food. It's just a huge concern. But I voted her for several reasons. I have kids in college. I also have a senior citizen as a mom who I personally take care of. So it's a whole encompass thing. It's just, we just need, society just needs to be better.
And the government shutdown. I mean, everybody knows someone in this county, seemingly, who either works for the government or you work for the government yourself,
right.
And that's affected a lot of your neighbors as well.
Right. Yes, it does. It impacts not just Virginia. It's the whole DMV area.
Right.
So the shutdown does impact us all. How we going to pay our bills? Just financially, emotionally. And you don't want to see your neighbors and everybody suffer. So
thank you for talking to us, Cheryl. Good luck, and good luck to you and your neighbors.
Thank you.
All right, guys, gonna wrap it back over to you. We got about 4 more hours until the polls close today. Then they're going to count everything electronically and feed it into the government center here in Loudoun County. That's going to be an exciting time. So we want our viewers to stay with CNN as we get the results in real time. It's really what makes this so much fun, to talk to voters in real time, to show you the process in real time. And we got a few more hours to go at this very, very busy polling station in Northern Virginia.
No doubt, and we'll likely get busier as we get closer to rush hour. Brian Todd in Virginia, thank you so much. Danny Freeman now is in New Jersey, where a governor's race is going to be decided. Danny, what's the latest there?
Well, Boris, and first I'll just say I'm jealous of both Brian and Omar, because in New Jersey they're a little more strict about keeping reporters outside of the actual polling places. They came out with a tape measure to make sure we were far enough away to make sure people are comfortable while they're voting. But here's what I'll tell you from my vantage point here. We've been speaking to a lot of voters out here. We're in Passaic County. It's a very crucial county because it was a swing county essentially from 2020 to 2024. It was a Biden county that flipped to a Trump county. And the big question is now, when it comes to this governor's race between Republican Jack Ciattarelli and Democrat Mikey Sherrill, can the Republican Ciattarelli continue to build on the gains that President Trump did last year? One of the key demographic groups, specifically where we are in Passaic, are Latinos, Boris. We've been talking about this all afternoon. I've been speaking with Latinos, some who said, listen, I'm a Latino in this community. I have voted Democrat for years. Others who told me they're the example. The gentleman, Cesar Tavares, who said, I was a Democrat, but I decided to switch to the Republican, voting for Ciattarelli because I think they have our interests in mind. But I want you to take a listen to one voter we spoke with. Her name is Maria, and just mind you, she traveled from Peru just to get back to vote today. Take a listen. What made you come out and vote today?
Oh, it's so very important. We have to save the, democracy and the right to vote and the right to speech and the freedom of speech.
And Boris, Brianna, I'll just say that a lot of voters here are saying that a lot of the national politics really crept into this race in New Jersey. We'll, of course, wait to see those results as they come in a little later. Boris, Brianna?
All right, Danny, thank you so much. And next time Danny fills in, we'll get that tape measure.
Yeah.
We can, just make sure that Danny is appropriately
far
distanced
enough away.
away.
To not bother anybody.
That's
Like
right.
Danny. Just kidding. We love Danny.
We love Danny. All right, so the ballot counts will be coming in fast and furious as the polls close. We have Chief Data Analyst Harry Enton digging through the numbers, and he's going to keep doing this all night long. Harry, what are you looking for tonight?
Yeah, I will say, who wants to stay away from Danny Freeman? One of the nicest guys in the
That's
entire
right.
world.
Totally kidding.
Totally kidding. If they only knew how nice he was. Look, I think there are 3 things I'm keeping my eye out on, the 3 key races, right? Down in Virginia, what I'm interested in is ticket splitting, right? We have Abigail Spanberger, who's obviously the Democratic nominee for governor, but you also have races for lieutenant governor and attorney general as well. Jay Jones, who's running as the Democratic nominee for attorney general down in Virginia, has definitely faced some problems. He had a whole texting scandal, things he said over text that he had to apologize for, and I think one of the the key questions for me is, are the people who are going to vote Democratic at the top of the ticket for Spanberger going to fill out that entire ballot being Democratic? Now, in terms of New Jersey, look, Danny took a little bit of my thunder away from me, because what I was going to say was I am interested to see whether or not that the gains that Donald Trump made among Hispanic voters actually hold in 2025 for Jack Ciattarelli. And one of the places I'm interested in looking at, of course, is Passaic County, which, of course, there are a lot of Latinos live, but we're also going to be looking at places like Perth Amboy as well in New Jersey. If Ciattarelli is able to hold those Trump gains among Hispanics, game on, then he has a real shot of winning. But if he doesn't, well, then I think you got to be essentially looking at the Republican, the Democrat leading there.